guys, the second video for today. So I told y'all in that other video that today we were going to be talking, the discussion for today was going to be about forgiveness. Forgiving yourself and forgiving others. Forgiving people can kind of be complicated sometimes. But you would actually be surprised, like holding on to, if someone, especially if it is somebody that you know, somebody that you trusted, like if it even it's a close friend or a family member, even a past relationship that you had, if somebody has betrayed your trust, it takes a lot to forgive that person. Sometimes you're able to mend the relationship, and then sometimes there's so much hurt that you're not able to. But if you're not able to mend that relationship, it doesn't mean that you have to hold on to all the hurt and anger that they caused you for the rest of your life. Because I know some people who they dwell on the things that people from their past that they have done to them, and the person that they're dwelling over, has long gone and moved on with their life, probably not even thinking twice about it. And you deserve that same chance too. So a lot of times I think that sometimes, depending on who the person is, I think it's harder for some people to forgive themselves than it is like forgiving themselves for decisions that they've made in their past, than it is to forgive people who have done things to hurt them or, betray their trust or anything like that. Sometimes I think it's easier for them to forgive them than it is to forgive themselves. But it just depends on the person, and it definitely depends on the situation. But holding on to all that hurt and anger, even hurt and anger that you feel towards yourself, like mentally it is so bad. Like it affects your mental health and your relationships with everybody around you. Because if you're this angry, bitter person holding on to something that happened like 20, 30 years ago, and somebody brings it up whenever y'all are talking or something like that, and then you go on this rampage about it, what are you really getting out of holding on to all that hurt and anger? What are you accomplishing? It's just like a pot of hate just stirring up in you that doesn't even need to be there. Forgiving yourself, I had a very hard time. I had to learn a thing or two about forgiveness. I've been able to forgive like a friend talking about me behind my back, or my brother taking my toys or something like that. But I had to learn how to really, really forgive someone a long time ago, and it's a process. It takes a lot of time, and it got to where instead of me working on forgiving them, it got to where almost every night I was almost drinking maybe half a bottle or a bottle of wine to try to forget, instead of working on me forgiving them so I can move on with my life. It's like I was stuck where I was at, dwelling on what happened, and that other person had moved on with their life, and then I was just sitting there just stirring up hate for them. And it's a waste of time, and it's a waste of energy. So it's a process. And it's like one morning you just wake up and you're like, I don't want to feel that way anymore. I want to let go of it. Sometimes you're not always able to talk to the person that's hurt you, or the person that you're wanting to forgive. So it's something that you have to work on inside. Write down what it is. I know I say write down stuff a lot, but you would be really surprised. I am almost 32 years old, and I still keep a journal. Write down what it is that person did to you, and shred it up. Throw it away. Put it in the fireplace. Burn it. Whatever you have to do to move past that. Talk to somebody. I'm not saying like a therapist or somebody like that, but talk to a friend, or ask, if you're a praying person, ask family and friends, close ones. You don't want everybody knowing your business. Ask them to pray for you. You have, an unspoken prayer request. You just really, really need prayer. To me, I think that praying goes a long way, a very long way. I'm a huge prayer. I pray constantly, all throughout my day. And it's okay. It's okay, I think. What am I trying to say? Just because you forgive them, it doesn't mean that you have to forget what happened. Like, set yourself up to be in that situation again. Learn from it. Forgive them so you can move on with your life, but don't forget what happened. Like, I'm not saying think about it all the time. I'm just saying forgive them so you can move on and be happy, but don't know better than to put yourself in that same situation again. That way you don't have to go through that hurt and dealing with all that anger again that you did. And you got to realize that the past is in the past. I mean, there's nothing that you can do about it. I mean, what's done is done. Now you just have to keep looking straight ahead and keep moving forward. Like, if there's nothing that you can do to fix it, what's done is done. And that sucks, but there's nothing else that you can do. You just have to keep looking straight ahead. And I mean, if it's something that you're trying to forgive yourself on, how can you better yourself? What did you learn from it? How can you do better next time to where you don't do that same mistake that you did? Think before you speak, before you do. I know it's really hard, especially for me sometimes, to think. I have a tendency to just pop up at the mouth sometimes, and sometimes it can get you in a lot of trouble. I mean, I've hurt people before. I've said things that I regret, and I've had a hard time forgiving myself for some mistakes that I've made also. And it's not easy. It's not easy at all. I mean, it was a process. It takes a lot of time to get over stuff like that, especially if you were really, really hurt. But the only advice I can give about it is just don't dwell on it. Don't dwell on it. I mean, think about it, sit back and, cry about it if you have to, get it out of the way. I'm not saying bottle it all up and just throw it away. Like, think about what happened. Talk to somebody, cry about it, write it down, write about it. But you holding on to the hurt and the anger that they caused you, it's doing nothing for you, nothing. It's just making it 10 times worse and pretty much keeping you from being able to move on with your life. That's all it's doing. So learn to forgive yourself and, forgiving others. It's a process, but within time you can totally do it. So I have a quote. Of course, I have to end with my quotes. I had to make this video really short because I found out they don't like me posting videos more than 10 minutes. That's what the problem was, I think. Okay, so the quote I found, it doesn't say who it is, but it says, "You are more than your mistakes, and I promise you, you are so worth it." You guys remember that. Cut yourself some slack. If it's yourself that you're having a hard time forgiving, think about how you can do better. And if it's somebody else that you're trying to forgive, if you're not able to, talk to that person and mend the relationship, pray about it, talk to somebody about it. It'll get better eventually in time. I promise. If you just learn to forgive and let go. Well, this is the end. We're on day 17, I think. So we're more than halfway through with the group. But I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.